When you're feeling say you're feeling your lungs like kind of losing air, or you're feeling the doubt, like, I don't know if I could do another one. That's when I put in my mind, this is where I can improve because I'm finally hurting.
Young man on the track.
Trauma 2.
Finally, good to see you. Linked up, finally. Everything's too. So I feel like it'll be okay.
Young man on the track.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, set to make his ring walk, a rising superstar in the lightweight division. He is the undefeated lightweight, the fighting pride of Victorville, California. Here is King Ryan Garcia.
He's got speed, power, looks, charisma, the whole package. Oh, and a left hand! Sends Fonseca down! Flat on his back!
I'm here with the young phenom, Ryan Garcia, in Canelo's gym. You've been training here for a while, and if you don't know who he is, you'll know. 17-0, 14 knockouts, ESPN's Prospect of the Year. Thanks for having me, man.
No, no problem.
Excited to be here.
All good.
So, boxing at 7 years old. Do you remember, how'd you get into it?
So I was playing baseball, and I was killing it. I was like Babe Ruth. I mean, that's just what they called me. I don't want to say anything else, but my team, we ended up getting 4th place, and I was so pissed because I was like, man, I did good. I felt like I performed well. Like, why am I getting 4th place? Like, I always wanted to get first, even as a kid. So I chucked my bobblehead they gave me, and I chucked it across the field, and my uncle seen me, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, I can't do this. I want a sport that's just one-on-one. I don't want to rely on anybody else. And he told me about boxing. I didn't know what it was, but he showed me a picture of a championship bout, and I was like, oh, I want that, because it's so shiny. As a kid, you're like, oh, it's shiny. You want that. So he told me about boxing, and then he showed me a clip of what boxing is, and it's like punching people. I was like, I don't care what it is, Uncle. I want to do it. And then he took me into a garage, and ever since we were training in the garage.
So we talked before, I said, was there a tipping point? And you said no, you always knew you wanted to do that. Yeah. So there was no this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. You just continued to work at it.
Yeah, there was never a point in my life where I said, oh, I'm gonna box for the rest of my life. No, it was more, I was so into it, I was so passionate about it, it wasn't even a question, it wasn't a doubt in my mind that it would have been. I didn't even have to ask myself, oh, this is what I want to do, or think, oh, this is what I want to do. It was already happening.
So there's a lot of young fighters watching, a lot of young athletes and entrepreneurs. They probably see you online and they think, man, his life is amazing and fighting's been easy. So you said you always wanted to do it, but tell people, was it easy coming up from 7 to now age 20? Was it easy for you the whole way, or was there a lot of challenges?
No, I mean, the challenges, every year new obstacles came and new things to overcome, especially, my family, we had to struggle through a lot to get to this point. In boxing, as an amateur, you don't get paid, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for the flights to the tournaments. Nobody's paying for anything. So, I mean, I remember moments me and my dad would go to the tournaments, and we would literally sleep in a car to go to the tournament. We would sleep in the car. My dad would buy blankets from Walmart, shout out Walmart, and then he would take them back after we're done with the tournament so we could have money for gas to get back home. And then that's how we would get through a lot of the tournaments. I mean, we all as a family, we had a vision. We didn't have much, but we put a lot of our time and effort into thing that we really wanted, and that's how we got to it.
So was there ever any doubt of giving up, or was that never even in question because of how much work you put in?
I mean, my family, they never had doubt in me. It was more like, the other, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles.
Never the immediate family.
Yeah, they would always say, you're not going to be a professional boxer. There's no way you could be a champion. It's like, you're wasting too much money. You guys are living
Now, did that motivate or discourage you?
My parents never let it reach me, so They kept it to them. They had to deal with it. I was just focused in the gym. I mean, my dad would be hard on me. That's where he would take it out, all the pressure from his other family. He would take it on me, like, you got to do this. You got to wake up. You have to work. And I mean, as a kid, sometimes, man, you don't want to train, but you know, you got to do what you got to do.
That's a big point to understand is it didn't even get to you. They were protecting you to make sure you were focused at all times. I love that. There's something that took me years to figure out, and how you have this in your head at your age is very admirable. Talk about the philosophy you have of always improving and not comparing yourself to anybody except who you were yesterday. Talk about the importance of that in your training.
I mean, I learned that, I think, about a year ago, where I really, really knew that's exactly what you have to do. You work on improving yourself before anything, because at the end of the day, if you're worrying about the next guy, you're not focusing on yourself, therefore you're not improving. And my mindset is, if I throw my hook this way, how could I get it faster each day? Keep thinking, And then I train my mind and then my physical. So if I'm training my mind on visualizing how I'm throwing the punch, and then I'm improving it in my mind, I'll apply it physically, then I improve it physically. So it's like I improve both my mental and my physical.
So motivation, where does that come from? A lot of people know watching that do physical activity, after a certain point, almost everyone, when they feel like it, they just kind of stop. Yeah. If they're but you obviously continue to push forward. Is that now habitual, or is it still a mentality? What goes through your mind when you're thinking about giving up, or when you want to push more? What goes through your head?
I love that, because I learned that recently last camp. When you're feeling say you're feeling your lungs like kind of losing air, or you're feeling the doubt, like, I don't know if I could do another one. That's when I put in my mind, this is where I can improve, because I'm finally hurting. So if I'm hurting right here, this is where it counts. So I push, and I keep it, I'm like, all right, I'm improving. And then I'll put in my mind, like my parents or somebody, like things in my mind that are motivating me, and I'll just keep ignoring the doubt until I kill it.
So you know, right when you get to that pain point, you're like, I got to push past this, because this is
where it's at. This is what separates you from everybody else, right here at this moment, because most people are like, damn, I'm tired. Right there, I'm like, oh shoot, this is where I got to push. This is the only way, and then I'll improve next time. I won't feel it at this point. I'll feel it another time. So I got to keep going.
It's huge.
I get it.
So the biggest question, my man, is the focus. Most 20-year-olds, they have every distraction in the book, whether it's social media, girls, like drugs, there's so many. How are you able at a young age to stay focused on what you want and not let temptations, social media, all these things that go on affect your mental state of mind?
Yeah, it definitely was a learning process for me, man. I mean, coming up, everything came so fast at me, so it was hard to grasp what was happening. But luckily for me, I had a good core around me, a good team, good people around me telling me, you know, what not to do, what to do. But I learned over time, social media and real life is two different things. I mean, you need to learn how to separate it. You need to learn that, you know, all the stuff on social media is made for social media and to create an image. But when you're in the real life, things matter. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the hours into your craft, because if that's not working, social media is not going to work. Yeah. I mean, it's
a lot of people try to fake the social media because
it's easy to fake it. It's so
and they're not putting in the work on the side.
Exactly.
Interesting. How do you separate? Do you remember when you were like conscious, like, I have to separate this or it's going to affect me? Do you remember that moment?
I remember that moment when I caught myself I started worrying about the views, the likes, but I thought to myself, why? I mean, I've been just training in my garage my whole life. I've been, you know, working towards this. I fought in the amateurs all my life. Why would I start worrying about something that is not?
When you have real life stuff going on.
I have real life stuff going on, real people trying to beat me up. But that's like in anything with life. You start worrying about stuff that could sidetrack you, that's when you're going to mess up. You got to remember your main focus. Of course, when I can, I grab all that I could grab on other outlets because that's the smart
branding
thing to do.
Yeah.
But keep your main focus. That's
huge.
Key.
I love it. That's huge. So what do you tell someone that cares what people think? They almost care too much where they change who they are because of others. What do you tell that person?
You know, it's definitely something you have to learn to get accustomed to ignoring what people say and don't let it affect you. Because for a long time, I had that problem too. I mean, I'm a people pleaser. I like to make people happy and I like to, you know, get accepted by people. I mean, who wants to go into a room and nobody fucking likes them? Sorry if I'm cussing, but it's just, you gotta just learn that it's all about how you feel, your happiness, and don't get your happiness from somebody else, because that's in anything. A relationship, you don't get your happiness from somebody else, because then that's when you depend on people's acceptance, and then you won't be able to propel because you're worrying about, oh, if I make this move, then they're not gonna like this. At the end of the day, there's gonna be people that love it and there's gonna be people that hate it. As long as you got your people supporting you, that's all that matters.
Yeah, you said something on our phone call. We were talking, and one of the biggest things with the youth that you want to get across, that I want to get across, is fixing mental health. There's a lot of mental health, and I think it starts with who you are, focusing on the positive, being around good people. So if someone right now that's watching maybe is suffering from a little bit of depression, from two people that have had hate, that have gone through changes, that finally kind of figured out who we are, what do you tell someone right now going through challenges, like really stressed out?
I mean, I went through anxiety around, I was like 17 years old. I had it bad. I mean, there's all things going through my head. I didn't even know if I wanted to box anymore. I didn't know if I wanted to do anything anymore, live. I mean, I was screaming at the mirror, crying. There was so much stuff going on because as a young guy, you don't really understand those feelings. Everybody's looking at you like you're a punk, or especially people that don't know what anxiety is. You know, you're just being a bitch.
Don't cry.
Don't show emotions. But you come to learn more about yourself when going through anxiety. And I just want to stress to everybody out there that's going through anxiety that it's completely normal. It's something that, you know, millions of people go through every day. They might not even realize it. And that's what I want to stress. You know, growing up in my environment, there was a lot of people that they see a lot of things and a lot of terrible things. And if you don't know what anxiety is, or any type of mental issue that you might have, it could affect you. And maybe just speaking to people and saying that is real and it's common, maybe they can overcome it and then propel into whatever they want to do. It could be holding them back and they won't even notice.
Not even overcome it, but you're saying
learn how to cope with it.
Cope with it, and then they get better when it's
exactly.
That's
exactly.
huge.
You
Flipping
get
it to a
stronger.
positive.
Once you get overcome it, or not even overcome it, cope with it, I don't know, it's something, your mental game is just way stronger.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you going through that anxiety and looking in the mirror and punching the mirror and getting frustrated with life, do you feel like you're stronger now because of that?
It prepared me for what came. I would have never been prepared for all this coming at me if I didn't go through that.
So it's a positive.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's awesome. Cool. So what do you tell like an 18, 19, 20-year-old right now trying to come up, trying to maximize their life, their business, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether they're an athlete, a fighter? What do you tell them right now that maybe they're lacking focus and they don't know how to get grasp of it? What's like the advice?
My advice for anybody that's working towards anything, every day you improve, every day, because check this out. This is my mindset, my mindset on everything. When you have a bad day, off day, everybody has those, right? And then you start feeling down. You got to think at that moment, change your mindset right there and start thinking, how can I improve my bad day? So when you're not feeling good, you push and you try to correct everything you could correct. So one day you'll never have a bad day because you're so good at your bad day. You know, you get what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to grasp, but that's
always improving every day and never comparing yourself to someone else.
Never. Stay in your lane, because the moment you start worrying about somebody else, you're losing your own momentum, your own, you know, your own just level. You got to keep leveling up. You worry about somebody else, you're going to see your level going down because all your main focus is on them.
And this is for everything: social media,
anything,
boxing, entrepreneurship.
Anything you're going for, you start worrying about somebody else, you automatically start going down.
I see that all the time. Uh-oh. With the young killer. Uh-oh. Watch out. It's coming. So what's next for you? What's the future hold for Ryan Garcia?
So the future right now is, you know, we got March 30th in front of me, which I never take anything lightly, so get the victory there. Then we're obviously going to fight on the Canelo card in May.
200, Amateur wins hard right hand. That landed and shook Duno. Garcia able to land that right now. He's got it, he goes. Right hand and a hook, and Duno's hurt. Duno's hurt bad. Wow, it's over, Brian.
And and then maybe a possible title shot in September, which will be great. I'm ranked number 1 right now under this guy that's a champion, so I'm in line to fight him. So possibly I could fight for a world title in September, but you know, we got to see how it happens.
The new WBC silver and NABO lightweight champion, King Ryan Garcia.
But right now, those are my 3 things lined up in front of me.
Love it, man. So you heard it first, wants to be a world champion, but much respect to you, not for your fighting, but for who you are as a human being, for your emotional maturity, for the vision you have, for someone that wants to reach greatness the right way, no cutting corners, all love.
Thanks, man.
Respect, brother.
Hey, what's up? And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy this video and this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button below, put the notifications on, and I assure you, you'll love this content in these videos.